Welcome to Night Whisper. Night Whisper brings you the darkest tales from the shadows. Join our community. Subscribe, leave a like, and prepare yourself for stories that will haunt your dreams. I should have known something was wrong when the salary came with a trauma counselor's number. 3 months ago, I took a job as a night meteorologist at Summit Station, 12,000 feet up in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, alone for 12 hours, 3 shifts per week. The pay was exceptional, almost suspiciously exceptional. $48 per hour to monitor weather instruments and log data. But that counselor's number in the welcome packet. That should have been my first clue. My name is Sarah Reynolds. I have a degree in atmospheric science from Colorado State University, 2 years of experience at smaller weather stations in Wyoming and Montana. Clean record, good references, strong recommendations from professors. Nothing in my background suggested I would end up here. Writing this, warning you, because Summit Station is not what they tell you it is. The recruitment email arrived on November 15th. I remember the exact date because it was my birthday. 26 years old, student loans crushing me, working double shifts at a coffee shop in Fort Collins to make rent, checking job boards obsessively between pouring lattes and cleaning espresso machines. Subject line, immediate opening, night shift meteorologist, Summit Station, weather observatory. I opened it during my lunch break. Sitting in the back room on an overturned milk crate, my phone screen cracked from when I had dropped it last week, but I could still read that salary clearly enough, $96,000 annually. For part-time work, 3 12-hour shifts per week, benefits included, housing stipend provided, equipment provided, immediate start available. I read it 3 times, looked for the catch, the fine print, the scam, nothing. Just a legitimate job posting from the National Weather Service, real contact information, professional formatting, a link to the official government website. I applied immediately. Right there in the back room, uploaded my resume from my phone, wrote a cover letter on the spot, hit send before I could overthink it. The response came 6 hours later, before my shift ended. Dear Ms. Reynolds, thank you for your application. We would like to schedule a video interview for tomorrow at 9 a.m. Please confirm your availability. Director Marcus Harrison, Summit Station Operations. I confirmed. Of course I confirmed. The video interview happened the next morning. I woke up early, dressed professionally, set up my laptop in the kitchen where the lighting was best, made coffee, waited. At exactly 9 a.m., my computer chimed. Incoming call. I clicked accept. A man appeared on my screen. Late 50s, gray hair cut military short, deep lines around his eyes. The kind of lines that come from squinting at bright snow, from scanning horizons, from seeing things in the distance that you cannot quite identify. Ms. Reynolds, I am Director Marcus Harrison. Thank you for making time this morning. Thank you for the opportunity, Director. I have reviewed your application. Your qualifications are excellent. Your experience is relevant. Your references speak highly of you. He paused. But I need to be frank with you. This position is not for everyone. The previous occupant lasted exactly 1 night before resigning. 1 night? Yes. We have had similar experiences with other candidates. The isolation is extreme. The conditions are harsh, and there are, he chose his words carefully, unusual aspects to the work. I am comfortable with isolation, I said. I've worked remote stations before. Not like Summit Station. The way he said it made my stomach tighten. But I needed this job, needed it desperately. I am willing to try, I said. He studied me through the screen, those tired eyes searching my face for something, weakness maybe, or strength. I could not tell which he wanted to find. Summit Station has operated continuously for 42 years, he said finally. We have never missed a single data transmission, not once. Weather services across 3 states depend on our data. Aviation, agriculture, emergency services. That record must be maintained. I understand. Reliability is crucial in meteorology. No. His voice went hard. You do not understand, not yet. But if you take this position, you will understand very quickly. He pulled up a document, shared his screen. I saw pages of text, protocols, procedures, emergency guidelines. These are the station protocols. You will memorize them. You will follow them exactly. There is no room for interpretation, no flexibility, no exceptions. If you cannot commit to following these protocols without question, I need to know now. I can follow protocols, I said. Even when they seem irrational? Yes. Even when your training tells you they are wrong? I hesitated. Can you give me an example? He clicked through the document, stopped on page 3. Summit Station. Emergency Protocols. Protocol 1. During whiteout conditions, remain inside the station. Do not attempt to check external equipment. Do not open external doors for any reason. Personnel safety takes absolute priority over data collection. Protocol 2. If you hear voices calling your name from outside the station, ignore them. They are not real. They are not human. They will try to convince you to come outside. Do not respond. Do not acknowledge them. Do not open doors or windows. Protocol 3. If power fails completely, activate the emergency beacon immediately. Do not attempt to restart generators manually. Do not go outside to investigate power lines. Do not trust any instructions received via radio during power failure. Protocol 4. If you see figures moving in the fog through windows or on security cameras, do not acknowledge them. Do not make eye contact if they come to windows. Do not respond if they tap on glass or doors. They cannot enter if you do not let them in. Protocol 5. Between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., the station may experience unusual phenomena. Temperature fluctuations, equipment malfunctions, sensory distortions. Remain in the monitoring room. Continue normal operations. Do not investigate unusual sounds. These phenomena will pass by dawn. Protocol 6. If the instruments detect impossible readings, temperatures above freezing when external thermometers show -40, humidity levels exceeding 100%, barometric pressure readings below 23 inches, log them anyway. Do not dismiss them as equipment malfunction. These readings are accurate for what they measure. Protocol 7. Never, under any circumstances, trust the radio during a storm or fog event. Voices on the radio may sound like colleagues, supervisors, or emergency services. They may provide seemingly reasonable instructions. They may claim emergencies require you to go outside. Do not comply. Verify all radio communications with base during clear weather only. I stared at the screen, read each protocol twice, 3 times. Director Harrison, I said slowly, what exactly am I going to encounter at Summit Station? Atmospheric phenomena. We do not fully understand them. We have theories, electromagnetic anomalies, quantum effects at high altitude, atmospheric pressure creating hallucinations, mass hysteria induced by isolation. But theories are just theories. And the people who died? His expression did not change. Who said anyone died? You said the previous person lasted 1 night. You mentioned other candidates. You are showing me protocols about voices that are not human. What am I walking into? He was quiet for a long moment. Then he leaned closer to the camera. Miss Reynolds, I'm going to tell you something that is not in any official documentation. Summit Station sits on a geological and atmospheric anomaly. We do not understand it. Scientists have studied it for 4 decades. The best minds in physics, meteorology, and quantum mechanics have examined the data, and we still do not know what it is. But you know it exists. Yes, I know it exists. I have experienced it myself, 3 times during my career. and it nearly killed me once. Then why keep the station operational? Because the data we collect is invaluable. Storm systems that develop near Summit Station behave differently than anywhere else on Earth. The research has saved thousands of lives, advanced weather prediction by decades. We cannot close it. So you send people up there alone to face whatever this thing is. We send people who are willing, who understand the risks, who can follow protocols. Most people survive their shifts without incident. Some experience minor phenomena. A few encounter major events. He paused. And a very small number break protocols and do not survive. How small? 8 people in 42 years. That is a survival rate of 99.4% for those who follow protocols. The numbers were stark, clear. 8 dead in 42 years of operation. Probably hundreds of staff over that time. The odds were actually quite good. What happens if I accept and want to quit after my first shift? You can quit any time, no penalty, no questions asked. Most people who experience a major event choose not to return. That is their right. I thought about my student loans, my rent, my dying car, my empty bank account. I will take the position, I said. Director Harrison nodded slowly. Very well. Your first shift is December 1st. Training materials will be sent today. Memorize the protocols. Your life may depend on it. Literally. The call ended. Over the next 2 weeks, I studied, read every document they sent, watched training videos, memorized equipment procedures, learned the instruments, the software, the reporting requirements, and I read those emergency protocols over and over until I could recite them perfectly. My boyfriend thought I was crazy. Sarah, this sounds like a horror movie setup, Derek said. We were having dinner at the Thai place near my apartment. The last dinner we would have together, though I didn't know it yet. It is just a weather station, I said, with protocols about voices that are not human. Come on. Altitude sickness causes hallucinations. It is a medical fact. They are just being cautious. You are going to be alone at 12,000 feet with weird protocols and a trauma counselor's number. Does that sound normal to you? The money is real. The job is legitimate. I checked everything. Derek put down his fork. I think you should turn it down. I cannot afford to turn it down. Then I am coming with you. At least for the first night. I will wait in the car if I have to. They will not allow that. The station is restricted access. Then I do not think you should go. We argued for another hour. He was concerned, genuinely worried. But he also had a stable job. No student debt, parents who had paid for his college. He could not understand the desperation I felt. We broke up 3 days later. He said he could not watch me put myself in danger. I said I had to do this. In retrospect, he was probably right to be scared. The drive up to Summit Station took 4 hours from Fort Collins. I left at 7 p.m. My shift started at 11:30 p.m. I needed the extra time to acclimate to the altitude, to find the place, to mentally prepare. The highway was clear, traffic light, just me and the occasional truck climbing into the mountains. The road went from interstate to state highway, to county road, to mountain road, to gravel track, to something that barely qualified as a path. My GPS gave up around 10,000 feet. No signal, just blank map. But the directions were simple enough. Follow the road until it ends. The temperature dropped steadily as I climbed. 40 degrees at the base, 30, 20, 10. My car's external thermometer hit 0 as I crossed 11,000 feet. The forest thinned. Trees became scrub brush. Scrub brush became bare rock and snow. At 11:15 p.m., I rounded a curve and saw lights. Summit Station. 3 white buildings huddled together against the mountain wind. Angular, utilitarian. Like shipping containers stacked and connected. Radio towers rising from the main building. Red warning lights blinking. Satellite dishes pointed at the sky, solar panels on every roof, wind turbines spinning, and not another light visible for miles in any direction. Just darkness, mountains, stars so bright they hurt to look at. I parked beside a pickup truck. The only other vehicle. Jen Martinez's truck, according to the files I had reviewed. The air hit me like a wall when I opened my car door. Cold, thin, sharp in my lungs. I gasped, bent over, forced myself to breathe slowly. Altitude sickness starts at 8,000 feet for some people. I was at 12,000. I needed to acclimate, to let my body adjust. The security light clicked on, motion activated. I saw my breath in white clouds, saw frost already forming on my car's windshield, saw the door to the main building open. A woman stepped out. Latina, maybe 40. Dark circles under her eyes so pronounced they looked like bruises. She wore a heavy parka, thermal boots, moved like someone who was exhausted to the bone. "You Sarah?" Her voice was flat, monotone. "Yes, you must be Jen Martinez." She nodded once. "Come inside. We have 30 minutes. I will show you everything. Pay attention. I will not repeat myself." No greeting, no welcome, no small talk. Just straight to business. I grabbed my backpack and followed her inside. The interior was warm, overheated actually, stuffy. The contrast from outside made my head spin. I unzipped my coat, tried to adjust to the temperature change. The main room was exactly what I expected. Professional weather monitoring station, screens everywhere. Real-time data displays, radar feeds, satellite imagery, temperature graphs, pressure readings, wind speed indicators, humidity sensors. Everything a meteorologist could want. 3 computer workstations, each with multiple monitors. A main console in the center, emergency communications equipment on the far wall, a leather-bound journal on the center desk. "This is the monitoring station," Jen said. She moved quickly, pointed at screens without really looking at them, like she had done this explanation 1,000 times and was bored with it. "You check every instrument on the hour. You log every reading in this book." She tapped the leather journal. Not digitally, handwritten. Every single time. Why handwritten? We have digital systems. Because computers fail. Electronics fail. Power fails. The journal never fails. Director's orders? No exceptions. She showed me the kitchen area, separated from the monitoring room by a short hallway. "Coffee here. Always keep a pot ready. You will need it. Microwave works. Refrigerator stocked weekly with basics. Eat whatever you want. Restock list is on the counter. The bathroom, small, functional. Hot water lasts 20 minutes. Heater is old. Do not waste it. If you need to shower, do it fast." The sleeping quarters, 2 rooms with bunk beds. "You probably will not sleep. I never do. But they are here if you need them. Lock your door if you use them, just in case." "In case of what?" She didn't answer, just kept moving. Then she pulled out a laminated card from her pocket, handed it to me. The emergency protocols. I had memorized them, but seeing them physically in my hand made them more real, more immediate. "These are not suggestions," Jen said. Her eyes met mine for the first time since I had arrived. Really looked at me, assessed me. "These protocols exist for one reason: to keep you alive. People have died here. Good people, smart people, experienced people, people who thought they knew better. Director Harrison said 8 people died. 8 that we know about. There might be more. Early years were not as well documented." She pulled her coat tighter. "But every single one of them broke protocols. Everyone thought they could handle it. Everyone was wrong. What is out there?" She looked toward the windows, the darkness beyond, the mountain night. "I do not know. I've been working here for 3 years, 46 months, 138 shifts. I have seen things I cannot explain, heard things that should not exist, experienced phenomena that violate every law of physics I learned in school. She turned back to me. But I have never broken protocols, not once, and I am still alive. That is all that matters. Can you describe what you've seen? Fog when there should be no fog, voices of people who are not there, figures in the snow, faces at windows, things that look human but are not, sounds from empty rooms, equipment that fails and restarts on its own, temperatures that do not match reality. She paused. And the worst thing, the thing that happens if you really anger it, if you break enough rules, if you go outside when you should not. What happens? It learns your shape, your voice, your mannerisms. It becomes you, and then it tries to get back inside, to get to the next person, to add to itself. My mouth went dry. That is impossible. I have seen my own face looking at me through the window, smiling, waving, asking to be let in, my voice, my body, my memories. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Tell me how that is possible. I could not, had no explanation, no scientific theory that fit. She checked her watch. 23 minutes until your shift starts. Questions? I had 1,000 questions, but I could see she was done talking, done spending energy on explanations. I think I understand the basics, I said. Good. She grabbed her bag from beside the door, put on her gloves. One more thing. If you experience a major event tonight, if things get bad, really bad, just survive until dawn, hold out until 6 a.m. Day shift will come, help will come. Just survive. Is something supposed to happen tonight? She looked at the instruments, at the radar screens, at the atmospheric data. Clear conditions forecast, no storm systems, should be a quiet night. She looked back at me. But it is never really quiet up here. Just different levels of loud. She walked to the door, hand on the handle. Stopped. Sarah? Yes? If you hear my voice outside tonight, calling you, asking for help, do not open the door. I will be at home in Denver. Safe, warm, asleep in my bed. Whatever sounds like me is not me. Then she left. The door closed behind her with a heavy thunk. I heard the lock engage automatically, heard her truck start, heard it drive away down the mountain. The sound faded, disappeared, left only silence. Complete, absolute, total silence. I stood in the monitoring room, alone, at 12,000 feet, in the dark, with protocols about voices that are not human and warnings about things that learn your shape. I checked my phone. No signal. Of course not. The clock on the wall showed 11:28 p.m., 2 minutes until my shift officially started. I sat down at the center console, looked at all the screens, all the data, all the perfectly normal weather readings that said tonight would be calm and clear and safe. The radio crackled, made me jump. A voice came through, male, professional. Summit Station, this is base. Do you copy? I grabbed the transmitter, pressed the button. Base, this is Summit Station. Sarah Reynolds checking in. Day shift has departed at 11:28 p.m. I am beginning night operations. Copy that, Summit. Welcome aboard. First shift always feels strange. You will adjust. Radio check scheduled for 1:30 a.m. Base out. The radio went silent. I pulled out the leather journal, found a pen. Made my first entry in careful handwriting. December 1st, 2024. 23:30. Sarah Reynolds. First shift begins. All systems operational. Weather clear. Temperature -8 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind 12 miles per hour. Barometric pressure 24.3 inches. No anomalies detected. I closed the journal, looked at the screens, at the data streaming in, at the security cameras showing empty snow and dark sky and nothing moving. Everything looked normal. Everything felt wrong. But I was here now, committed. For the next 12 hours, Summit Station was my responsibility. I just had to follow the protocols, stay inside, survive until dawn. How hard could it be? The answer came 97 minutes later. Hour 1, 11:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. The first hour was routine, exactly what I expected, what I had trained for. I familiarized myself with the equipment layout, located every switch, every button, every emergency control, muscle memory for when visibility might be poor or hands might be shaking. The monitoring station was laid out efficiently. Main console in the center with 3 large screens. Left screen showed current weather data. Center screen displayed radar and satellite feeds. Right screen had security camera views cycling every 10 seconds. Keyboard worn smooth from years of use. Mouse slightly sticky. Coffee rings on the desk that no amount of cleaning had removed. Signs of the countless operators who had sat in this chair before me. How many had experienced what I was about to experience? I opened drawers, found spare pens, backup flashlights, a deck of cards, someone's forgotten reading glasses, a photo of mountains that must have been taken from this very building. Small human touches in this isolated place. Check the emergency supplies, first aid kit fully stocked, bandages, antiseptic, pain medication, cold weather injury supplies, frostbite treatment, everything you would need if you had to survive alone for days. Fire extinguisher charged and accessible, mounted on the wall beside the main door. Last inspection date, 3 weeks ago. Emergency beacon tested and functional, the one piece of equipment that could not fail. That operated independently of all other systems. My lifeline if everything else went wrong. Backup radio operational, hand crank powered, no batteries needed, old technology, reliable technology, flashlights with fresh batteries, 6 of them in the emergency cabinet. I tested each one. All worked perfectly. Thermal blankets, 3 of them, Mylar, designed to reflect body heat, could keep you alive in extreme cold. 3 days of emergency food and water, freeze-dried meals, energy bars, water purification tablets, medical-grade water bottles, everything in order, everything professional, everything suggesting that emergencies were expected, planned for, survived. I made my first official instrument check at midnight exactly. Started with internal sensors. Building temperature, 72 degrees. Humidity, 38%. Air pressure inside, normal. Carbon monoxide levels, 0. All normal for a heated building at high altitude. Each sensor had a small green LED beside it, all glowing steadily. Reassuring little lights saying everything was okay. Everything was safe. External sensors next. Temperature, -12 degrees Fahrenheit. Dropping steadily as the mountain night deepened. Wind speed, 15 miles per hour from the northwest. Consistent. Steady. Not gusting. Barometric pressure, 24.1 inches and falling slightly. Normal nighttime pressure change. Sky conditions, clear. Visibility, unlimited. You could see for 100 miles on a night like this. I logged everything in the journal. My handwriting was neat, steady, professional. The pen felt good in my hand. Solid, real. Something physical to anchor me. December 1st, 2024, 0000. S. Reynolds, hourly check. All systems nominal. X-temp, -12 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind, 15 miles per hour northwest. Press, 24.1 inches. Sky, clear. Viz, unlimited. No anomalies. The radar showed nothing within 200 miles. No storm systems. No precipitation. No unusual atmospheric activity. Just clear, cold mountain air stretching in every direction. Perfect conditions. A textbook clear winter night in the Rockies. The kind of night that killed climbers through simple exposure. The kind of night where the beauty hid the danger. Where the clarity masked the cold. Where you could see death coming from miles away and still not be able to stop it. I poured coffee. Black. Hot. From the pot that Jen had made before leaving, still reasonably fresh. Tasted of industrial coffee maker and paper filter, but the caffeine was real. Sat at the monitoring station and watched data stream across screens. Numbers updating in real time. Temperature ticking down. Pressure falling gradually. Wind speed fluctuating between 14 and 16 miles per hour. Graphs drawing themselves. Lines moving across screens like heartbeat monitors. Everything functioning exactly as designed. Boring, safe, normal. Outside the windows, stars burned cold and white in the thin air. The Milky Way visible as a river of light across the sky. So many stars, more than I had ever seen from anywhere else. The altitude putting me above much of the atmospheric haze. Beautiful, deadly, indifferent. I should have known it would not last. Hour 2, 12:30 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. The generator started cycling at 12:33 a.m. I noticed it immediately. A change in the background hum, the building's mechanical heartbeat stuttering. The lights flickered, once, twice, then steady. I checked the power panel beside the main door. 3 indicators. Main grid, green. Primary generator, standby mode, yellow. Secondary generator, standby mode, yellow. But I could hear the primary generator running, starting, stopping, starting again. A rhythm that should not exist if the main grid was functional. I logged it in the journal. 0033, generator cycling anomaly. Main grid shows normal. Audible generator start-stop cycles. No power interruption to station systems. Then I radioed base. Summit station to base. Do you copy? Static. Then, this is base. Go ahead, Summit. Experiencing unusual generator cycling. Power panel shows grid normal, but I can hear the primary generator running intermittently. Should I investigate? A pause. Longer than I expected. Negative. Do not go outside. Log the observation. We will dispatch maintenance during day shift tomorrow. How long has this been occurring? Started approximately 3 minutes ago. Cycle repeats every 15 to 20 seconds. Copy. Continue monitoring. Report if power fails completely. Otherwise, maintain normal operations. Base out. I noted the radio exchange in the journal. Added the timestamp. Tried to ignore the unsettled feeling in my stomach. The generator cycling continued for 18 minutes, then stopped at 12:51 a.m. Complete silence again. Just the hum of computers and the whisper of the heating system. I did my 1 a.m. instrument check. Everything showed normal. Temperature outside had dropped to -15. Wind speed holding steady. Pressure falling slightly, but within normal parameters. Nothing unusual. Nothing threatening. Just a mechanical glitch. Easily explained. Would be fixed tomorrow. I tried to believe that. Hour 3, 1:30 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. The temperature drop started at 1:15 a.m. Sudden, dramatic, 10 degrees in 12 minutes. I watched the external thermometer fall. -15, -18, -22, -25. That was not normal. Mountain temperatures drop at night, but gradually, not in sharp plunges. I checked the weather radar, still clear. No fronts moving through. No atmospheric changes to explain this. The wind speed increased, 20 miles per hour, 25, 30. But the radar showed calm conditions. I checked the instruments, recalibrated the external sensors, ran diagnostic tests. Everything checked out. The sensors were working properly. The temperature just kept falling. -28, -30, -32. I radioed base again. Summit station to base. experiencing rapid temperature drop, -32 and falling. Wind increasing to 35 miles per hour. No weather system visible on radar. Please, advise. The response came quickly. Base copies. Continue monitoring. Report if temperature drops below -40. This can occur during clear night conditions at high altitude. Maintain normal operations. Understood. Out. But it didn't feel normal, did not look normal on any of the historical data I pulled up. The wind hit 40 miles per hour at 1:30 a.m. exactly. The building shook slightly, not dangerously, just enough to notice, enough to remind me how exposed we were up here. I was supposed to radio base for my scheduled check-in at 1:30, but before I could transmit, something appeared on camera 3. Fog. Impossible fog. I stared at the screen. Camera 3 covered the north side of the compound, currently showing dense white fog rolling across the snow, thick, opaque, moving against the wind direction. I checked the other 5 cameras. All showed clear conditions, stars visible, mountains silhouetted against the sky, no fog anywhere, only camera 3 showed fog. I checked the weather instruments. Humidity, 28%. Temperature, -33. Conditions completely wrong for fog formation. Air that cold and dry cannot support fog. Basic meteorology. But camera 3 showed fog anyway. Dense, white, rolling closer to the building with each passing second. I grabbed the radio. Summit to base, radio check. Also reporting visual anomaly on camera 3. Dense fog visible. Not present on other cameras. Weather conditions not conducive to fog formation. Possible equipment malfunction. Static. Then Director Harrison's voice. Not the dispatcher. The director himself. Summit, this is Director Harrison. Listen carefully. You are experiencing your first phenomenon event. This is what we call a whiteout. It appears on certain instruments under specific conditions. Follow Protocol 4 exactly. Do you have the Emergency Protocols card? I pulled it from my pocket. Yes, sir. Read Protocol 4 out loud. I read, if you see figures moving in the fog, do not acknowledge them. Do not make eye contact. Do not respond if they tap on windows or doors. They cannot enter if you do not let them in. Good. That fog will move closer. You may see shapes in it, figures that look human. You may hear sounds, knocking, voices, calls for help. Ignore all of it. Stay inside. Do not investigate. Do not open doors or windows. The phenomenon will pass. Do you understand? Director, what is causing this? What am I seeing? We do not fully understand it. We just know it happens. We know the protocols keep people safe. Can you follow Protocol 4? I looked at camera 3. The fog was touching the building now, pressing against the north wall. And yes, there were shapes in it, tall shapes, human-shaped but wrong proportions. Too thin, too tall, moving in the fog like smoke and water. Yes, I said. I can follow protocols. Good. Do not deviate. Radio check at 3:30 a.m. Harrison out. The transmission ended. I sat at the monitoring station, watched camera 3 show impossible fog, watched shapes move through it, watched them circle the building. The other 5 cameras showed clear night, normal mountain darkness. Only camera 3 showed the nightmare. I wrote in the journal, logged everything, time, description, radio conversation. My hands shook slightly as I wrote. The building temperature began to drop. I checked the thermostat. Still showed 72 degrees, but I could see my breath now. White clouds in the warm air. The fog was pulling heat from the building. Somehow, drawing it out through the walls, I pulled on my coat, zipped it up, made fresh coffee, hot coffee, drank it too fast and burned my tongue. At 2 a.m., the knocking started. 3 sharp raps. On the north door, the door facing the fog. Clear, distinct, deliberate. I checked camera 3. Nothing at the door. Just fog. Just those impossible shapes moving in the white. 3 more knocks. Same rhythm, same intensity, same door. I did not move, did not acknowledge. Followed protocol 4 exactly. The knocking continued. Every 20 seconds. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks. Pause. For 17 minutes. Then it stopped. The fog on camera 3 began to thin slightly. The shapes became less distinct. Fading, but not gone. Just waiting. I logged everything in the journal. 2:17. Knocking ceased. Fog still present on camera 3. Shapes still visible. Maintaining protocols. 1 more hour until my 3:30 a.m. radio check. 1 more hour until the worst part. Hour 4. 2:30 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. Protocol 5 stated, between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., the station may experience unusual phenomena. It was not wrong. At 2:47 a.m., I heard footsteps in the hallway behind me. I spun in my chair. The hallway was empty, lit by overhead LEDs, showing nothing. But I heard footsteps anyway. Boot steps, slow, deliberate, coming from the sleeping quarters, walking toward the monitoring room, getting closer. I stood up, grabbed a flashlight even though the lights were on. Primitive instinct, light as weapon. The footsteps stopped outside the monitoring room door. The door was closed, locked from inside. Standard procedure. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks. On the interior door, inside the building where nothing should be. "Hello?" I called out. My voice cracked. "Base, is there supposed to be anyone else at the station?" No answer. The radio was silent. 3 more knocks, heavier this time, more insistent. I looked at the door. Solid metal, deadbolt engaged, security rated. The doorknob began to turn, slowly testing the lock. "Stay away," I shouted. "I am armed." I was not, but maybe it would help. The doorknob stopped turning, went still. The footsteps retreated, back down the hallway, fading, gone. I checked the security cameras. All 6 interior cameras, empty hallways, empty rooms, nothing moving, nothing there. But I had heard it, had seen the doorknob move. I logged it in the journal with shaking hands. 2:51, auditory event. Footsteps in interior hallway, knocking on monitoring room door. Door handle turned, no visual confirmation on cameras, remained inside per protocols. At 3 a.m., a truck arrived. I saw it on camera 5, the access road camera, headlights climbing the mountain, a pickup truck, moving slowly on the icy gravel. It parked beside my car. The lights turned off. The driver's door opened. A woman climbed out. Latina, parka and thermal boots. She walked toward the main building. Jen Martinez, my day shift colleague who had left hours ago, who should be at home in Denver. She walked to the main door, looked up at the security camera, smiled, and knocked 3 times. I grabbed the radio. "Base, this is Summit. Jen Martinez just arrived at the station. She is at the front door. Should I let her in?" The response was immediate, urgent. "Negative. Do not open that door. That is not Jen Martinez. Jen is at her home in Denver. We have her on a different line right now. That is not her. Do not open the door." I looked at camera 5 again. The Jen thing stood at the door, still smiling, looking directly at the camera. Then her head tilted. Wrong angle. Too far. Neck bending in a way human necks do not bend. Her smile widened, and widened, and widened, splitting her face at the corners, tearing, her mouth opening far too wide, Her eyes turned completely black. No whites, no irises, just solid black pits. She raised one hand, waved at the camera. Her fingers were too long, too thin, had too many joints, bending in wrong directions. I backed away from the screens. The thing that looked like Jen knocked again, and again, and again, rhythmic, insistent, demanding. "Summit, report status. Are you okay?" Base's voice on the radio. "I am okay. I am inside. Doors locked. That thing is outside." "Good. Do not let it in. Do not respond to it. It will leave eventually. You are doing perfectly. Maintain protocols." The Jen thing knocked for 8 more minutes, then stopped. Camera 5 showed the driveway empty. The truck was gone. The thing was gone, like it had never been there. But the fog on camera 3 remained, thicker now, closer, pressing against every north-facing window, and shapes, so many shapes, dozens of them, circling, waiting. My radio check came at 3:30 a.m. "Summit, this is Director Harrison. Report full status." Something that looked like Jen Martinez tried to get inside. I did not open the door. "But Director, I need to know. What are these things? What is really happening here?" A long pause, then, "Sarah, what I'm about to tell you is not in any official documentation. Summit Station sits on a geological and atmospheric anomaly. We do not fully understand it, but certain atmospheric conditions create a phenomenon we call the thinning. The barrier between our reality and something else becomes permeable, weak. They can sense us, see us, call to us, try to lure us out. But they cannot enter the station unless we let them in, unless we open doors, unless we go outside. That is why the protocols exist." "How long has this been happening?" 42 years since we built the station. We have lost 8 people in that time. All of them broke protocols. All of them went outside during thinning events. We found them the next morning, frozen, miles from the station, like something led them away, called them into the wilderness. Why not close the station? Because the data we collect during thinning events is invaluable. Breakthrough physics, quantum observations, atmospheric anomalies that defy current science. We are learning things that could revolutionize our understanding of reality itself. We just need people strong enough to sit in that room and follow simple rules. What if I fail? What if I break? You will not. You have followed protocols perfectly so far. Just 3 more hours. Dawn comes at 6:30 a.m. The thinning ends with sunrise. You will survive this. Trust the protocols. Trust yourself. The transmission ended. I sat in the monitoring room, alone, wrapped in my coat against the cold that defied thermostats. The clock showed 3:38 a.m., 2 hours and 52 minutes until dawn. I could do this. I had to do this. Hour 5, 3:30 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. At 3:52 a.m., all power failed. Every light, every screen, every system. Everything went dark simultaneously. Main grid, primary generator, secondary generator. Complete failure across all 3 systems at the exact same moment. Emergency battery lights kicked on, dim, red, barely enough to see. I tried the radio. Dead. The backup radio. Dead. The satellite phone. Dead. Every electronic system in the station had failed simultaneously. But the emergency lights stayed on, battery-powered, independent circuit. They would last maybe 90 minutes. In that dim red glow, I saw something that stopped my heart. Wet footprints. On the floor, leading from the main door to exactly where I sat. The door was locked, had been locked all night. Security cameras had shown nothing entering. But wet footprints led from the door to my chair. I followed them with my eyes. They did not stop behind me. They went past me, Through the room, down the hallway, into the sleeping quarters. Something was inside, in the building, with me. I stood slowly, grabbed the flashlight, grabbed the emergency beacon from the supply cabinet, the one system that operated completely independently. I activated the beacon. Red lights started pulsing, one flash per second, sending distress signal to every emergency frequency within 200 miles. The wet footprints began to move. I could see them forming on the floor, one at a time. Heavy boot prints, wet, coming back toward me from the sleeping quarters. Step, step, step. I backed against the wall, held the flashlight in front of me like a weapon. The footsteps stopped 3 feet away from me. I could feel breath on my face. Cold, so cold it burned. Smelling of ozone and old ice and something else. Something ancient and fundamentally wrong. Then I heard a voice, right in front of me, at a close I should be able to touch its source. "You should have come outside, Sarah. It would have been faster. Now we must come inside." I shone the flashlight at the voice. Nothing there. Just empty air. Just red emergency lighting. Just wet footprints on the floor. I ran to the emergency supply closet, grabbed everything I could. Thermal blanket, more flashlights, flares, water, the emergency crank radio. The wet footprints followed me. I could hear them, squelching, heavy, getting closer. I ran back to the monitoring room, slammed the door, threw the deadbolt, braced it with the desk chair. Then I cranked the emergency radio. Hand-powered generator, the only thing still working. The radio crackled to life. "This is Summit Station. Emergency. All power systems failed. Unknown entity inside the building, requesting immediate evacuation. Does anyone copy?" Static, wind noise, the storm. Then a voice, faint. "Director Harrison." "Sarah, can you Protocol Omega?" "Director, I cannot hear clearly. Say again. What is Protocol Omega?" More static, then clearer, much clearer, like he was standing right next to me. "Protocol Omega is for complete power failure. You must restart the main generator manually. There is an external switch on the north wall. You have to go outside. Just for 2 minutes. Restart the generator. Come back inside immediately. You can survive 2 minutes outside." My blood froze. "Director, you told me never go outside. You said I would die." "That was before power failure. The station must have power. The instruments must keep running. Data cannot be lost. Lives depend on continuous monitoring. You have to go outside, now." But something was wrong. Something in the voice. Too smooth, too persuasive. "Director, what is my middle name?" Silence. "What?" "My middle name. It's in my employee file." "What is it?" Longer silence. Then the voice changed, dropped impossibly low, became something inhuman. "There is no Protocol Omega, Sarah. There is only us, waiting in the cold. Come outside, come outside, come outside." I dropped the radio, backed away from it. The door to the monitoring room began to crack. Ice forming in the seams, frost spreading across the metal. The entire door frame turning white with rime. The temperature inside was dropping, fast, below freezing now. I could see ice crystals forming on the monitors, on the walls, on every surface. It was trying to freeze me out, force me outside to escape the cold. But going outside meant death. -40 degrees or colder, maybe -50 with wind chill. I would freeze solid in minutes. I wrapped myself in the thermal blanket, huddled on the floor, watched the door ice over. My fingers went numb, my toes, my face, but I stayed inside. Protocol 1. During whiteout conditions, remain inside the station. Do not open external doors for any reason, no matter what. At 4:27 a.m., the phenomena stopped. The icing stopped spreading, the temperature stabilized, the wet footprints faded, the emergency lights flickered. Then power returned. All systems, main grid, generators, everything. Lights came on, screens rebooted, heating system hummed to life, the radio crackled. "Summit Station, this is base. Please respond. We have been trying to reach you." I grabbed the transmitter with shaking hands. "Base, this is Summit. I am alive. Power failed. Something got inside." But I stayed in the monitoring room. I didn't go outside. Thank God. Day shift is dispatching now. ETA 45 minutes. Stay put. We're coming. I checked the clock. 4:32 a.m. Less than 2 hours until dawn. I had survived. Hour 6. 4:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. I sat in the monitoring room as the station warmed, watched the ice melt, watched the frost disappear, watched reality return. The security cameras showed clear conditions, fog gone, sky lightening, stars fading as dawn approached. Everything looked normal again. I checked the instruments, ran diagnostics, everything functional, everything operational, as if nothing had happened. But the journal told the truth. Pages of entries, times, observations, phenomena that should not exist. I continued my hourly checks, logged data, maintained normal operations, because that was the job. That was what the protocols required. At 5 a.m., I saw movement on camera 5, a truck climbing the access road, real headlights, real vehicle. Jen's truck. It parked. She climbed out, looked up at the security camera. I checked her eyes. Brown, normal, human. She walked to the door. I checked the other cameras. Only one Jen, only one truck. I let her in. She looked at me, saw my face, saw what the night had done. "You experienced a thinning event," she said. Not a question. "Yes." "Major or minor?" "Major. Power failure. Entity inside. Tried to trick me outside." She nodded slowly. "You followed protocols?" "Everyone." "Then you are one of the lucky ones. You survived your first major event. Most people quit after this." "I am quitting." "I understand." She made coffee, poured 2 cups. "Everyone quits, usually after the first major event, sometimes after the second. I've had 4 major events. I keep coming back." "Why?" She was quiet for a long time. Drank her coffee. Looked out the window at the brightening sky. "Because someone has to be here," she said finally. "Someone has to maintain the protocols, keep watch, record the data. If the station sits empty during a thinning, the phenomenon grows stronger, more aggressive. The protocols exist to contain it, to keep it manageable. If we abandon the station, it might spread, might grow, might reach populated areas." "You mean we are not just collecting data, we are acting as—" I searched for the word. "Bait," she said. "Yes, we are bait, drawing it here, containing it, keeping it focused on this remote station instead of elsewhere." The sun broke over the eastern peaks. Golden light flooded through the windows. Warm, real, beautiful. Director Harrison arrived at 6 a.m., checked the equipment, downloaded the data, reviewed my journal. "You did everything correctly," he said. "Perfect protocol adherence. You should be proud." "I am quitting." "I understand." He closed the journal. "The position remains open if you change your mind. The pay is excellent, and you now have experience that few people possess." "I will never come back here." He nodded. Did not argue. "I will process your resignation today. Full pay for the shift completed. Hazard bonus included. And Sarah?" "Yes?" "Thank you for following the protocols. You saved your own life, and possibly others." I drove down the mountain as the sun climbed higher, 4 hours back to Fort Collins. Back to my apartment, back to civilization. I quit officially. They paid me. More than promised. Hazard bonuses, completion bonuses, enough to cover 3 months of rent and student loans. That was 3 months ago. Last week I received an email. Subject line, Summit Station position available. Special circumstances. The salary had tripled, and a note from Director Harrison. Sarah, we need you. You have experience. You survived a major event. You can train new hires. You can help us maintain the protocols. Please reconsider. I have not opened the attachment yet, have not read the full details, but I think about it, because here is what I have not told anyone. During that night, during the worst of it, when that thing was inside the building, when I was wrapped in a thermal blanket freezing in the monitoring room, I saw something through the west window, a face looking in. My face, same features, same expressions, same hair, same everything. But standing outside in negative 40-degree weather, in the phenomenon, with those impossible shapes in the fog. She looked at me, smiled, raised one hand in a slow wave, then vanished. I told no one. Not Director Harrison, not Jen, not the trauma counselor whose number they gave me. Because I know what it means. There is a version of me that went outside that night. A version that opened the door when the fake Jen knocked. A version that believed the voice on the radio. A version that broke protocols. And she is still there, at Summit Station, in the fog, in the thinning, in the space between realities, waiting for the next person. The email from Director Harrison sits unopened in my inbox. The salary is incredible, triple what they first offered. And I know the protocols now, know them perfectly, could teach them, could help keep people safe. But sometimes, late at night, when I am alone, I hear 3 knocks on my apartment door, and I wonder if that face I saw outside was me, or if I am the one who went out, and I have been standing in the fog ever since. End of transmission.